Hello everybody and welcome to TheWinDuck. Today we want to check out the Wiko Highway Star, and I know this isn't a Windows phone, but it's always good to try out other devices, other operating systems. And that's why I'm really happy that I was able to test out the Highway Star for 1 month. And after the intro we want to take a final look at the very nicely designed Wiko device. Thank you so much for watching. Now first of all, let me talk about the design and the build quality, and as I already noted in the title, this is an absolutely nicely designed thin and light beauty. Now, as you can see here, the phone is only 6.6mm thin, which is very thin, but actually this isn't the thinnest phone Wiko makes. They also have the Highway Pure, which is incredibly thin with 5.1mm. But I have to say this is actually too thin in my opinion. Also here, this thinness has its downsides and I will talk about those later on, but in terms of design and this first impression, it definitely gives you this wow effect when you hold it in your hands. So now for the back. This back is a metal back which feels absolutely premium and comfortable to hold. Also with the thinness, I think this is nice to hold, and we've got those rounded curves here at the sides of the phone, which gives you also a very nice feeling in the hand. Now this metal back comes in 4 different colors. Of course this gold version which we've got right here, and I have to say I'm normally not the hugest fan of gold phones, but this color option here of the Wiko Highway Star looks actually quite attractive. Still, I would probably go with the grey-black version, which is also available, and then we've got also a cyan and the white version. Now here at the bottom we've got this black line. I know for some of you this might be annoying, but I think this is actually quite a nice design addition. Then here this gold frame looks also quite nice, and as you can see here, Wiko puts the speaker at the bottom, on the bottom of the device, and I will talk about the quality and the sound later on. Then we've got also a micro USB port for charging, and here on the left side we've got the volume rocker, and I have to say I really had to get used to it, that the volume rocker isn't on the same side as the power button. Now you may wonder why this is annoying, or why this annoyed me at the beginning, but on the Windows phones or on the Lumia phones, the volume rocker is always on the same side as the power button, and I really had to get used to click here on this side the volume rocker, especially since I'm a right-handed person here with another finger than the thumb. For me this was quite annoying, but when I gave the Lumia 640 to my brother, he said this is really annoying that the volume rocker is on the same side as the power button, so this is definitely a very subjective topic. Then on the right side we've got the power button, and here you can see the downside of the thinness. This power button is extremely small and also extremely thin, and I really had to get used to press this little button here, but since we've got double tap to wake up, this isn't a huge problem. Still, sadly, there's no option to turn off the display by double tapping on it, so you have to get used to this little button here. Still, you will get used to it. It's not that much of a problem. Then we've also got the micro SD card slot and the SIM card slot. You can actually put in 2 SIMs, SIM cards, one nano SIM and one micro SIM card. So that's actually quite nice. Now another downside of the thinness is that the camera stands out on the back. You can see it's not really that much noticeable, but for some of you this might be annoying. Now, as much as I like the back in terms of design and the build quality, I'm not the biggest fan of the front. And let me explain why. As you can see, this is just a black plain surface, and this could actually be the front of every phone out there. Now, I would wish for some Wiko branding or something, just that you know this is a Wiko phone. Now, for some of you may say, yeah, finally a manufacturer that doesn't have to put his branding on the front, but I would agree with you if the display was nearly bezel-less, but as you can see, we've got quite some space here at the bottom and at the top. But that's a very subjective thing. I would have wished for something like a branding or just an indication that this is a Wiko phone. But after all, this is up to you what you think. Now here at the top, we've got the 5 megapixel front-facing camera, and as you can see, it's also got a LED flash. Now, something that also annoyed me by the front, there are some gaps here, just some minor ones, but still dirt can get in there quite easily, and it's hard to get it out again. So that's slightly annoying, but still, at the end of the day, the Wiko Highway Star is an absolutely nicely designed, thin and light. Actually, I didn't tell you the weight. It's 123 grams, which is very, very comfortable for this 5-inch display. Yeah, this is a very, very nice phone and great build quality after all. A great phone that Wiko made here in terms of design and build quality. Now, I talked a lot about this topic, and let's get on to the next one. Now let's move on to the display, and I have to say this is actually one of the most exciting parts of the phone, if not the most exciting part of the Wiko Highway Star. So first of all, let's just take a quick look at the specifications, and then I will talk about the quality and what I think about the display. So we've got a 5-inch display with a resolution of 1280 by 720, and this is an AMOLED screen, which is really nice in my opinion. And what's also nice, as I already said before, this display supports double tap to wake up. Then what Wiko also integrated are some nice gestures, and I will talk about those just in a minute. And now let's talk about the size, the 5-inch display. In my opinion, this is not too big and not too small, and it's probably the sweet spot for most of you. So I'm absolutely fine with the 5-inch display. I'm also really used to it because my daily driver, the Lumia 830, also has a 5-inch display. So I'm totally fine with the size of the display. Now, what I'm also fine with is the resolution. Of course, you can find higher resolutions out there with Full HD and Quad HD, but in my opinion, for 5 inches, 720p is just fine. I mean, you can see pixels if you really search for them, but overall, the resolution is good on this display. I'm absolutely fine with 720p. Now, what I also really like about the display is the brightness. First of all, I really like auto brightness because you never get into a situation where the display is too dark. It just always adjusts right, and you can see everything on the display as you would expect it. What I also like is the highest brightness the display can get. Really bright, as you can see here. And yeah, that's just a really nice thing. If you want to use your phone also in direct sunlight, of course, then it gets hard to see everything, but overall the highest brightness is very pleasant and definitely one of the better displays out there in terms of screen brightness. Now, what I don't really like about the brightness is the lowest brightness level, because it's still very bright, actually too bright if you want to use the phone in a dark environment, say the night or so. It may seem like it's very dark now, but we're in a bright condition here, and if you want to use it in the night, this isn't the phone for you. But as said, probably the most of the time you use it during the day, and then the display is, due to the very high brightness level, is an absolutely great phone for you. Now, I also really like the color reproduction of the display. Since we've got a AMOLED screen, we've got really vibrant colors, but I just like them. I think they look good, and it gives you that wow effect at first sight. Maybe some of you don't like it, and that's up to you, but for me, I really like AMOLED screens, because we've got absolutely nice and deep blacks, as you can see right here. And we'll just quickly open the gallery. I just want to let you know this isn't the Wiko launcher which I'm using right now, because I've got some problems with it, but I will talk about that later on in the software section. Now let me just open this folder here, and as you can see here, as said before, colors look very vibrant, very nice in my opinion. And once again, the deep blacks, which just, that looks really amazing. Then for the whites, they are slightly grayish, but still overall they are not too bad, and I think they're better than what I saw on the Lumia 735, which also uses AMOLED screen technology. So now the viewing angles, I'm also fine with the viewing angles. Of course, colors get slightly washed out, but overall, this display is definitely one of the better ones in terms of viewing angles, in my opinion. Can also turn on the brightness level. So in my opinion, this looks great, and it's better than what I'm used to with the Lumia 830 in terms of viewing angles. Now, I talked about those gestures. Once again, we've got the double tap to wake up gestures. Sadly, there's no option to turn off the display by double tapping on it, but yeah, after all, you have to get to use this power button here. Now, something that I really like, which Wiko integrated, are some gestures. For example, you can draw an S on the screen and the messaging app opens. Or you draw an M on the screen and the music player opens. So this is really nice and might be useful for some of you. Still, what I would wish for is that you can optimize and personalize those. For example, I would wish to be able to draw a T and then the Twitter app opens. I know this is probably difficult to do, but still I would wish for something like that. Still, overall, really nice that Wiko integrated those gestures. Wiko also integrated some, let's say, gimmicky gestures. I will just show you them, even though they aren't really connected with the display category. For example, you can unlock the phone with your hand, and as you can see right now, it doesn't work. I also wanted to show it before in the video, and then I just tried it several times and it never worked. So I had to re-record this display part, and I don't want to do it once again, so we'll just stop it. I tried it out before behind the camera, and many times actually it works quite nice. You can just hover your hand here above the display and now it works. Now it worked and it unlocks. I don't really know why you would use that. Maybe if you got dirt on your hands, but it's gimmicky, let's say that. But still, they integrate it. If you want to use it, you can. Now let's go back to the gallery, because they also integrated something that we know Samsung did with their S4. You can, hopefully it works now. It works actually most of the time, but when I want to show it to you, then it doesn't work. So you can, now it worked. It's just because I'm behind the camera and I maybe have the hand too far away from the sensor. But as you can see, now I touch the display, and then of course it scrolls through the picture. Actually it works, I would say 80% of the time, but of course when I want to show it to you, it doesn't. But after all, I don't really see the usage here, so yeah, but I wanted to show it to you. But what can we say about the display overall? It's a really nice display. I already told you at the beginning of this part, this is the most exciting part about the phone, in my opinion. And I just see that we talked 9 minutes about the display, which is, mind-boggling. But it's just a nice display and it deserves to have so much space in this review. I hope this wasn't boring, and absolutely great job, Wiko. And we're now moving on to the next topic. Now I would like to talk about the speaker, which, as I already told you before, is at the bottom of the device, which is definitely better than what we are used to with many Lumia phones, where the speaker sits at the back. So that's definitely a better placement in my opinion. But still, overall, if you want to play games and so on, you might block the speaker, which can be annoying. Of course, this depends on which game you play and how you're holding your phone, but still it's quite easy to block the speaker. So that's something you have to keep in mind regarding the placement of the speaker. Now, as for the quality, you don't have to expect the best speaker on this phone, but still the quality is good enough if you want to watch some YouTube videos, if you want to play games or listening to podcasts. For me, the quality was definitely good enough. Also, the speaker can get quite loud, which is also nice. Something that I also really appreciate is that with the Wiko Highway Star you get headphones, which we don't get with many Lumia phones, or actually with no Lumia phone these days, so that's quite nice to have. Of course, most of the people will already have headphones at home, so this is something they don't really need, but still, I mean, it's a nice addition if you have it in the packaging right away and you can get started. So as for the headphones, they're also nothing special, but the quality is good enough, and I mean, you can't really say something bad about them if they're just in the package for the price of the phone. So that's definitely that's definitely a nice addition. As said, speaker good enough in my opinion, and we'll go to the next category in just a second.